In the heart of a busy upscale city, there stood a luxurious hotel known for its classic charm and prestige. This grand establishment, the Marlborough, had long prided itself on catering to the city's elite and wealthy visitors. From prominent businessmen to celebrities, everyone who mattered stayed there. However, the Marlborough's reputation for high standards also came with a darker side, a notorious history of discrimination. Only whispers told the stories of guests turned away, services denied, and unpleasant incidents swept under the rug. For many, the glamour of the Marlborough was overshadowed by the invisible yet palpable signs of prejudice. One late afternoon, an impeccably dressed black man named Jordan Haywood arrived at the hotel's grand entrance. He stepped out of his luxury car, his posture tall, his manner confident, and his presence unmistakable. As he walked through the doors, heads turned. Jordan was a self-made billionaire, known for his investments in various industries, from tech startups to renewable energy and philanthropy projects that had transformed underprivileged communities. Despite his wealth, he carried a quiet humility about him, a trait admired by those who knew him personally. As Jordan approached the front desk, he smiled and greeted the hotel clerk. The young man behind the desk, named Ethan, looked up and quickly took in Jordan's appearance with a look that barely concealed his disdain. Ethan's training on professionalism had unfortunately not been enough to cover up his deeply ingrained prejudices. "Good afternoon," Jordan began, extending a warm hand. "I'd like to check in. I have a reservation under the name Haywood." Ethan eyed him with a stony expression. "Excuse me, sir, but are you sure you're in the right place?" Jordan's friendly smile faltered, but he retained his composure. "Yes, I made a reservation here last week. Jordan Haywood. I believe your manager can confirm it." Ethan tapped on the computer in front of him with exaggerated slowness, sighing as he pretended to search for Jordan's booking. He leaned in closer to the screen, his fingers dancing deliberately over the keyboard. Finally, he looked up, his face impassive. "I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not seeing a reservation under that name." Jordan felt a familiar knot form in his stomach, a sensation he knew all too well, but he had learned to handle these moments with grace. "Perhaps there's a mistake. Could you check one more time? I have my confirmation email if that helps." Ethan hesitated, glancing around at the other guests in the lobby, all of whom seemed to be observing the interaction with growing interest. After a moment, he let out a sigh and offered a weak, almost insincere smile. "Apologies, sir. Unfortunately, we don't have any rooms available at the moment. Perhaps you could try one of the other hotels nearby?" "Are you saying there's no reservation or that you won't honor it?" Jordan asked quietly, keeping his tone level. Ethan's face hardened. "Look, I don't make the rules here, sir. Our establishment caters to a particular clientele, and I'm sure there are other hotels that might be more accommodating for you." Jordan's heart pounded as he absorbed the blatant discrimination in Ethan's words, but he simply nodded. "Very well. Thank you for your time," he said, before turning and leaving the hotel. The quiet dignity he maintained in the face of such blatant disrespect spoke volumes, even if those around him failed to notice. As Jordan walked back to his car, he couldn't help but feel a familiar surge of anger. He was no stranger to discrimination, but the experience at the Marlborough struck a nerve. He had overcome so many obstacles, built his empire from the ground up, yet he was still denied a simple hotel room because of the color of his skin. Jordan knew this was a story that countless others could tell. However, unlike many others, he was in a position to make a change, and he knew exactly how to do it. The very next day, Jordan arranged a private meeting with his legal team and personal advisors. The plan he outlined to them was one he had long contemplated but had never executed. Now, with renewed purpose, he felt ready to follow through. "I want to buy the Marlborough," he declared, looking his team in the eyes. "But not just buy it, I want to transform it. I want to create a place where everyone feels welcome, regardless of their background or skin color. I'm tired of places like this holding on to outdated practices. I want to set an example, not just for this city, but for all establishments that claim to provide luxury while hiding prejudice behind their closed doors." Jordan's team worked tirelessly over the next few weeks, negotiating terms, securing funding, and performing due diligence on the Marlborough Hotel. It wasn't an easy process. The current owner was reluctant to sell, and the management team did everything in their power to discourage the transaction. But Jordan was undeterred, and with his team's unwavering support, he pushed through every obstacle. Finally, after weeks of back and forth, he signed the papers that made him the official owner of the Marlboro. A month later, the grand announcement went public. Jordan Haywood, the man whom the Marlboro Hotel had refused service, was now its owner. Word spread quickly, and the story was picked up by local news outlets, capturing the attention of the city and beyond. The buzz was undeniable, as people couldn't believe the irony, nor the poetic justice, that a man they had turned away was now in a position of authority. Reactions varied. Some praised Jordan for his resilience and vision, while others clung to outdated beliefs and questioned his ability to manage a prestigious hotel like the Marlboro. But regardless of the mixed responses, Jordan had made up his mind about the path forward. The first day he walked through the hotel as its new owner, he felt a powerful sense of vindication. No longer was he an unwelcome guest. He was the person in charge, and his mission was clear. Jordan had decided that his first action would be to introduce mandatory diversity and sensitivity training for every member of the staff. He wanted each person working at the Marlboro to understand that prejudice in any form would no longer be tolerated. Jordan gathered the entire staff for an initial meeting, and as he looked out into the sea of faces, he noticed Ethan, the same desk clerk who had refused him service. Ethan's expression was a mixture of shame and disbelief as he stood among his colleagues, likely wondering what this new ownership would mean for him. "Thank you all for coming," Jordan began, his voice calm but strong. "I understand that change can be difficult and that some of you may have concerns. But let me be clear, the Marlboro Hotel will be a place of respect and inclusivity from this day forward. We're here to serve everyone, regardless of their background, because that is what hospitality truly means." There were murmurs throughout the room, some nodding in agreement, while others shifted uncomfortably. Jordan continued, undeterred. "It's not enough to simply serve those who walk through our doors. We need to do so with an open heart. For this reason, every member of the staff will be required to participate in diversity and inclusion training. This isn't a punishment. It's an opportunity to grow together, to create a space that reflects the values we should all stand for." As he concluded the meeting, he saw Ethan look down, avoiding his gaze. Jordan had considered terminating him immediately, but something in him wanted to see if people, even those like Ethan, were capable of change. He hoped that through the training and by witnessing firsthand what transformation looked like, Ethan might learn the value of respect and empathy. The transformation of the Marlboro was not just a cosmetic one, though Jordan did have renovations underway. He changed the layout of the lobby to be more open, symbolizing the openness he hoped to cultivate within the hotel itself. He also began an outreach program to invite local artists and community leaders to share their talents and knowledge, turning the hotel into a hub for cultural exchange and dialogue. As the weeks went by, Jordan became more involved in every aspect of the hotel's operations. He spent time speaking with the staff, listening to their concerns and ideas, and making adjustments based on their feedback. For many, it was the first time they had felt truly heard by someone in a leadership role. Jordan's compassion and dedication to inclusivity started to inspire others. The Marlboro began attracting a more diverse clientele, people from all walks of life who were drawn to the story of the man who had risen above discrimination and transformed it into an opportunity for unity. One afternoon, as Jordan was making his rounds, he noticed Ethan at the front desk, interacting with a black family who had just arrived. To Jordan's surprise, Ethan greeted them with genuine warmth, assisting them with their bags and taking extra care to ensure their check-in was smooth. Jordan watched from a distance, sensing a change in the young man. Ethan had attended every diversity training session, often remaining silent, but something seemed to have shifted in him. Perhaps it was the realization that people, no matter their background, were more alike than they were different. After the family had settled in, Jordan approached Ethan. "I saw how you handled that family's check-in. You've come a long way." Ethan looked up, meeting Jordan's eyes with a sincerity that had been absent before. "I just want to say, I'm sorry for the way I treated you that day. I didn't see you for who you were, and I've come to realize that's my loss. I know words can't erase what I did, but I want you to know that I'm trying to change. Jordan placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder, a small smile playing on his lips. Change is never easy, but recognizing it is the first step. I appreciate your willingness to grow. Keep doing what you're doing. We're building something special here, and I want you to be part of it. As time went on, the Marlborough Hotel flourished under Jordan's leadership. It became known not only for its luxury, but for its commitment to equality and respect. Guests who had once been turned away or treated poorly were now welcomed with open arms, and the staff began to take pride in the reputation they were building together. On the first anniversary of his ownership, Jordan hosted a grand event at the hotel, inviting guests from all backgrounds to celebrate the journey they had undertaken together. Local leaders, artists, activists, and community members came to share their stories and experiences, filling the hotel with a sense of unity and purpose that had been absent in its past. During the event, Jordan took the stage to address the crowd. His voice echoed through the hall, filled with emotion as he shared the story of his first encounter with the hotel, a moment that had planted the seed for change. He spoke about the importance of forgiveness, resilience, and the power of transformation, not only for individuals but for entire communities. As he concluded his speech, the audience rose in applause, moved by the journey that had brought them all together. Jordan looked out over the crowd, his heart swelling with a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. He had taken a place that had once symbolized exclusion and turned it into a beacon of hope and inclusion. The Marlborough Hotel was no longer just a building. It was a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit. And in that moment, Jordan knew that he had not only changed the fate of a hotel, but had also left a lasting legacy, a place where anyone, no matter who they were or where they came from, could feel valued, respected, and welcome.